G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we are going to be setting up FME Flow with HTTPS. So this is something you probably need to do if you're going to be running FME Flow / FME Server in any kind of production capacity. So there's a couple of steps to this. Thankfully with your standard FME Server, FME Flow installation, Safe Software provided a PowerShell script that we can run, but we do need to do a few things. The first is we need to set up a domain for the server to run off of. If you've been following the FME Flow installation video, you should have already FME Flow running on an Azure VM where you've been accessing it through a public IP address on HTTP. To make it work on HTTPS, we'll first need to set up a domain. So that's something like fme.yourbusiness.com domain. Secondly, after we've done that, we need to go and generate a certificate from a certificate authority. So we'll run through and generate that. That certificate will probably be a CER file. And what we need to do then is convert that CER file to a PFX file. And we'll use Open SSL tool to be able to do that. So I'll show you how to do that. And then once we've got that PFX file, we'll run the FME Flow or Safe Software PowerShell script to go and convert the server to run off of HTTPS. Then we'll open up some ports and restart FME Flow, and then hopefully we'll be able to access our FME Flow server through the new HTTPS enabled domain name. All right, so there's a fair bit there, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so we're on the computer now, and in the Azure environment, you can see this is my FME Flow core machine hosted in this virtual machine. It has a public IP address over here, and the way I can currently access it after installing FME Server and configuring it is via HTTP and putting in its IP address here. So I press enter, it takes me to the site, and you can see it's not secure here. It's because it's running off of HTTP and not secured by SSL certificate. So yeah, I can log in and work with the server and all that. But what we want to do is be able to access this through a HTTPS connection rather than HTTP. So the first thing we need to do is actually set up this public IP address with a domain. So next we're going to go over to my domain provider, which is over here, and the domain we're going to set this up on is called intelligis.io. So you want to get into your domain provider and manage your DNS settings where you can add in A records and that sort of thing. So if we go down here, what we're going to do is add in a new record, and that's just going to be fme.intelligis.io, and then we're going to put in the IP address here as the value. So we've got this guy here. So this will just be the IP address of your server that you're accessing on wherever you're hosting it. So we will add that rule in. And now with this new A record in place, so it should just be here, we will need to wait for this to propagate out throughout the internet. And then we should be able to get access to our server through http://fme.intelligis.io. So the domain name now instead of the IP address. You can see if this works now, but probably, oh, it's already working. It's already propagated all throughout the internet. So now we can access it through fme.intelligis.io. That may or may not take a little bit more time for you. So just give it usually, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 minutes and then check. But once you can access it, we can proceed to the next step, okay? So looks like it's working for us, so we're gonna go ahead and do the certificate now. Okay, so to generate a certificate, we'll need to go to a third-party authority. The one we're gonna use today is Zero SSL, but your IT department may be able to just provide one for you, okay? But if you're doing this yourself, we'll use this third-party authority. Okay, so at zerossl.com, we're going to go and generate our certificate. So our domain is, yours will obviously be different. So let's just follow this, follow the bouncing ball. It looks like we have to create an account, so we'll go and do that. We'll go next step, and we'll just do the free 90-day certificate. Next step. Don't think we need any add-ons. Sure, I guess we'll generate a CSR. Maybe we'll need that later, I'm not sure. Go next. I'm sure. I think we'll just turn that one off and we'll go with the free one. So it'll only last 90 days. If you're doing this for real, you probably want it to last longer, so you might have to pay for a longer running one. We'll go next. So we need to verify ownership of the domain. So I think the easiest way for us to do this is just do a CNAME record probably. You can also run this one, which is just to host a file on IIS as well, but that will involve, you know, mucking around with the server itself. So let's just do a DNS record. So add a new CNAME record with this in it. The name's going to be that, and then it's going to point to this, so the value is going to be this. This is definitely easiest. So we'll go back to the DNS, go down here, and it wanted a CNAME record to put in the name like this. Oh, hang on. So I think we need to delete that. And then the value is going to be the value that they've told us to put in. So it's this guy. Go back over here. And TTL 3600 or lower. So we'll go and add that in. Now we should have this new CNAME record. And it might take again a little bit to propagate. So we'll hit next on here. And then this will take a little bit of time to verify. We can also manually verify it. So here. And it looks like it's happy. And this might take a few seconds, so I'll cut back once this is ready. All right, looks like it's finished generating the certificate. So next we can choose the format. Let's go default and download. Okay, let's go have a look at it. This should be a CER file. Oh, a CRT file. Okay, no worries. So we'll now use OpenSSL to convert the CRT file into a PFX file. So we need to go download OpenSSL first. So let's go and find it. I think we actually need this one. So I'll put a link to this in the video description. And if we go down here, we should find the Windows one. I reckon this one will probably do it, just the light version. And let's do this install. Sorry, I'm just doing this on my local machine because I'll probably need to use it again rather than putting it on the server itself, which you could do if you want. But we'll go and run this. And next, Windows System Directory, install, and definitely give them a donation if you're using it, but I'm just going to leave this one off. Okay, cool. So that's installed now. Now we should see in my program files I have that tool available. Now it's OpenSSL. And if we go into the bin directory, this .exe file is the thing we want to run. So just to make life a little bit easier when we get to the command prompt, I'm going to add this into my path on my local machine. So I can just type in OpenSSL. Okay, so the way we do that, we can do a shortcut through here, properties. So right click on that, go properties. And then advanced system settings, environment variables, and under the path, either your system paths or your user paths, I'll just put it in the system paths here. We'll go new and then paste it in there. This isn't completely necessary, but this just makes it easier for later. All right, so that's ready to go. And what that will do is if I open command line, so I've got the shortcut here, you can go start menu and CMD and then open command line, and it'll open this. Now, since it's added to the path, I should be able to go open SSL, and that'll execute that exe file, just like that. The other way you can do it is just go directly to that file. So like that, backslash, so we gotta put quotes here. Open xsl.exe, and that'll do the same thing, okay? But that's why I set up the environment variable. All right, so let's get into it. So there's a couple of command lines we need to run to go and convert the CRT file. So let's go and do that. Okay, I just had to go and look up the command on how to convert the CRT files. So I'll just put it in Notepad for you. So let's go to Notepad, put it in here. This is what it looks like, okay? Let's make that bigger. So if we run OpenSSL with this pkcs12 and then export out, and this is obviously the out file, so the pfx file that we need. And we need to go in key and then private key. Let's just expand this so it looks a bit easier to look at. So the private key, and if we look at our downloads, what we got from the SSL authority, we got this private key file. We got in, which is the certificate.crt file, and then the cert file cabundle.crt. All right, so let's go and put all of these files into a location that's easier for us to work with. So I'm just going to cut this and go to C drive and temp, I reckon. So we'll just paste it here. Let's delete this little output folder in the temp, and then that way we can just navigate to it in over here. So it's just going to be private key. Our file here is called private.key instead of private-key, so let's just delete that. We're just going to copy and paste this command later. And then certificate.crt, certificate.crt, and cabundle.crt. And then our pfx cert is going to be called, let's just call it FME cert.pfx. And we'll go ahead and change into this directory here in the command line and run this command. So we'll copy this, go back to the command line, cd c drive /temp. Now we're in temp, so we go there, we can see we've got these files here, and now we just run this command, I guess. And so we need to provide a password with a pfx file. So put in a password and make sure you remember it, because we'll need that when we go and configure FME later. And confirm, I guess. All right, so that should have generated us a pfx now, and that looks pretty good. So we'll go and copy this over to the FME server, and we will use this file to go and generate the, to configure SSL. So we'll copy that and then go over to FME Flow core. So I've currently got it open already in remote desktop. If you don't remember how to do that, you want to just go into your Azure, connect, and then connect over here, and then connect via the RDP connection that you can download, okay? So we'll go over here and let's just paste that in. All right, so we've got the FME cert here. Okay, so we've just generated our pfx file, and the next step is to run a PowerShell script that's part of our FME server installation to use that pfx file and automatically configure HTTPS, okay, on FME Flow. So if we have a look here, I've just got the documentation open. I'll put the link in the description, but if we go down to the Windows configuration, we can see we've done everything else, and we want to run this pfx file certificate via an automated process. If we go here, it says as a warning that it updates all of your FME Flow configuration files. So ideally you want to do this like right at the beginning, like after you've set up FME Flow, which is exactly what we've done. So just be aware of that. Otherwise you want to back up your configuration files, okay? So the script's going to be located in your FME installation directory /utilities. Let's go find that and run it. So back on the server, so this is FME server core or FME Flow core. We've got our certificate here, the PFX file, and we'll go find that script. We'll probably need to put this file somewhere easier to access rather than the desktop. So let's go do that first. So we'll go cut and go to my computer here, C drive. We'll just put it in temp. C drive temp is my go-to. So back into C drive, we're going to go find that script. So program files, FME Flow, utilities, and hopefully it's here. This must be it. So configure SSL, and that must be the PS1 script. We'll just take a quick look at it. We'll open it in Notepad, and it does a whole bunch of stuff. It's probably a good idea to read this and understand what's going on, but we're just gonna send it. All right, so there's also a help you can run with it. So we can just do that first and see what happens. So let's go terminal. And we'll copy that path. So let's go into here. And if we go configure SSL PS1 and then dash help. Okay, so in the examples, this looks like what we need here. All right, so let's copy all this and then edit it in Notepad. That's what I usually like to do. So we'll go Notepad and just paste the template command line in here. Now the path to our PFX file is going to be at C drive temp where we pasted it. C drive temp FME underscore cert. Cert.pfx. We need to put in the password here. So I'm going to do this and then we'll have to blur it out. So we'll go. That is the password of the certificate that you set up before on the website. So we need to go and copy all of this, go over here, and then right click and then run it. Let's go and run it. And we'll just let that execute, cut back once it is finished. Okay, so that's finished up now, and it looks like it has configured SSL successfully using our PFX file. And it's just going to say, please restart FME Flow application server service for the changes to take effect. So if it's all working, the server is going to be running on port 443 now. That's HTTPS port, right? So I think before we go and restart the server, we'll just open up that hole in a firewall rule on FME Server core. So back over here, we'll go and type in firewall and open Windows Defender Firewall. Okay, and another inbound rule here. We actually already have engine ports and the FME Flow port already, I believe. But just so it's clear for everyone, we'll just go a new rule and port, and next TCP, and the port's going to be 443, and allow the connection on all profiles, and then we'll just call it FME Flow HTTPS, and that should be that there. I think this is port 80. We can leave that one. This one here, TCP port 80 here. You can either leave that in or delete it. We're just going to leave it in for us now. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now we just need to restart FME Flow core. So we'll go start, and then if you go all, FME Flow. You can just click restart, but I usually like to stop and then wait for it a while and then click start. And I think our engine should be okay, but we'll find out shortly. We'll just leave the engine for now. It's already registered. Okay, so engines were stopped successfully. Those are the local ones. FME Flow core service was stopped successfully. FME Flow server service is still stopping. And everything stopped. So now we'll go back in and we'll start her up. Flow start. All right, so I think everything is working now. And as usual, it usually takes a while for FME Flow to start up, but we should be able to access the server. Instead of going through HTTP, we'll do HTTPS://. And with a bit of luck, this will work, but I'll cut back once this actually starts working, because it usually takes ages after a restart, right? So, all right, and as expected, that did take a while, but it's all good because we've got this little padlock here saying our site is verified and secure, and we're running off of the domain name now. So it's working really nicely. Everything else should be the same. So we've got admin, put in our password again because it's technically like a new site now. So we go in here, we'll just check our engines. So let's go to engine management and make sure the other engine was okay. FME Flow. So we've only got the one engine working. That's no good. We might need to restart the engine as well. So let's go ahead and do that, eh? So back into the Azure console. So we go to console Azure. We're gonna have to remote to that engine. So this guy here. And find the remote desktop connection. We'll download a new RDP file and open up the engine. So this is our remote engine. If you've been following along with the other FME server videos, you will have this remote engine running as well. Or if you have remote engines running on your own local setup, then you set it up yourself, you might need to go and restart them as well, but we'll just go have a look now. Close this guy. So now we're on the engine now. Let's go have a look at the logs though. Our logs are on the server itself. So FME Flow core, FME Flow share, resources, logs, and engine logs, current. FME Flow engine. Here, we scroll down here. Looks like it's registering. Let's have a look at the logs on core. I wonder if we need to open this port. Yeah, we need to check this port. So it is 52072. I'm not sure it's the one that we opened before for the engine. So let's go have a look on the server. Inbound rules, and it's engine ports here. Let's go to properties. Yeah, see, it's a different port. We need to add this port in now. Okay, okay. And now we've got the extra port in. Make sure that actually saved. 52072, that's a big gotcha with the engines. Anyway, yeah, so we'll open that port up and go back to the FME server engine, and I think if we go to the logs on the engine, we should get an updated log here. The other engine is on that machine itself. Yeah, see, so now it's successfully registered. That is a massive gotcha. So, all right, so now let's go have a look on FME server itself. Refresh this page. And now we can see we've got both engines running. All right, I don't know how I edit that together, but it was a bit of a live investigation. But okay, cool. So that one gotcha, every time you restart the service, it seems like a new port gets opened up for the engine. So you got to make sure that the engine has the right port and can communicate with FME Server Flow core. in that case there, we went to the firewall rules and just opened up that port, and you have to check the logs on the shared directory. So hopefully that doesn't get you, maybe you'll be fine. But for me, yeah, I had to open up that port for the engine before it'll start working. But if we have a look on the server now, we are all working on HTTPS, all nice and secure, using a domain name as well. You'll be able to use FME Server core in a production sort of setup now. And yeah, that's it for the video. So thanks for sticking around for this whole series. I think this really brings us to the end of the FME Flow setup and configuration series. I think the next couple ones we might do just one-hitters and show you a couple of different features of FME Flow Server as well as FME FME Form, the workbench. But we're going to look at some other technologies as well, like Esri, enterprise setups, maybe some Python stuff. I might give you an update on my own geoprocessing API as well. But yeah, thanks for sticking around until now, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers.